Oh, it will. Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome. Welcome to another episode here on The Remedy. I'm your host, Pastor D, and I'm glad to be with you once more as we get ready to say goodbye to 2020. I don't know about you, but I am tired. It's time to say goodbye. It's time to say yes, nice to meet you, 2020, but you gotta go. 2020 has been a very interesting year. It was a year full of challenges, a year that, and the annals of human history, we will remember for a long time. Consider this limited list, if you may. Okay, families have lost loved ones, um, jobs and businesses because of coronavirus pandemic. A reckoning of racism has taken place as we went out protesting, marching through the streets of these cities, um, demanding um, to stop police brutality and demanding equal human rights. Earlier this month, we witnessed the election and all that went with it. Um, but be that as it may, no matter what we went through this year, I have to say that um, as we look at Thanksgiving, spending time with our families. If you are living alone, probably spending time with yourself. Um, it is what it is. But be that as it may, I truly believe that we have a lot to be thankful for. And that's what today's show is about. What are we most grateful? What are we most thankful for? It is possible to be thankful in 2020. Despite the hardships, I believe that it is our responsibility. We must make every effort to be grateful. Um, this is the season in which we need to reach out to people, both near and far, to let them know how much we love them, how much we appreciate them. And so, without any further ado, I want to welcome you to the remedy. All right, welcome, family. Today on the remedy, everybody's all dressed. Well, everybody was supposed to be all dressed up. Let me begin with.
Oh,
Oh,
I missed
I
that memo.
said to you, Kels, when you got on the show, I was like, Kels, what?
I missed that memo completely. I do apologize.
Coach Kells, listen, man, listen. We got nothing but love for you, okay? Nothing but
That's why I
love
was
for
like,
you.
wait. Kels was on I was like, what?
No, I was wondering what you were talking about, Betty. I was like, I guess I'm not dressed up enough, but I'm like, I got a shirt on this time. That's much better than my bad. My
You know
bad.
what? You know what's interesting? At the beginning of this week, I say I'm gonna get organized. I'm gonna send everything early. Send the link to the show. Everybody, please remember to dress up and stuff like that early, right? So that everybody got it. And of course, my brother, I love you, man. You're special.
I'm telling you, I was like, wait. Kels was on the show. I know he heard. I was like,
That's my
okay.
But for those of you who are watching us for the very first time, this is Kels from Atlanta, Georgia. We call him Coach Kels. He has a
bad.
how many people you have right now on in your camp?
So I got about 15 to 20 players who are either in college or semi-pro and are looking to go overseas. So I've been praying and working with them and trying to help get them placed. They've put a lot on my plate, which has kind of helped me also. So now I'm tackling agencies and becoming a sport agent myself. So I got a couple things that I'm working on. So I don't know, praying and moving. So.
Listen, I just want to let you know how much we appreciate you and for what you are doing in the community, bringing young people together, those young men, and giving them something to hold on to in the midst of all the craziness that's going on in the world. You always been a wonderful ball player, and now as a coach, I can only imagine what the future holds for you, man. But so love it, love it. So those of you who are in Atlanta, Georgia, you should look him up. How do they find you, Markel?
I am Coach Kells on Instagram.
Coach Kells on Instagram.
That's wrong. It's the real Coach Kells. The real Coach Kells.
All right. You can type it in the group chat so that everybody remembers it, okay? And right in the middle of Coach Kells and myself, we have the beautiful scientist, Patty Bermudez, Pat from PA.
Hi, everyone.
Are stunning today. Come on, take a stand. Let everybody see you today. Take a stand. Take a bow. Yeah.
I listened. Although my husband was like, I said, yeah, we were told to dress in our best churches. And he's like, which church is that will allow you to wear this? I said, well, that's StreamYard. He was like, okay. He looked at me like, okay. I'm like, you know me, I looked at it, I was like, I want to be red today. And I'm like, they're only going to see my top anyway. So the short bottom doesn't matter.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for being part of the Remedy. It's been a thrill having you with us for the entire year now. Let's move on. I'm going to introduce to you, we call them the 2D sisters. We call them the twins. We call them the beautiful ladies. We call them my daughters. Wendy and Melody for Alden, PA. Come on, take a bow.
Hi.
All right. I just love the way they just rock the hair, dude. You guys are just amazing. And it's good to have you on the show, ready to go. And last and not least, Luby last night. Let me tell you a little bit about this woman. She sent me one of the what do you call this thing again? I do YouTube. So podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she sent me a podcast that she created with her family. Let me tell you, man, it sounds like they've been doing this for 20 years. The kids, let me tell you, those kids are first. They were on the podcast like they own this, okay? And they had sound effects going on. The kids were engaged and they were teaching us about cancer awareness, and they had stories. And I was sitting there and listening, and I'm like, man, I am so proud to be part of this family. You guys are just freaking awesome. Luby, thank you for being here. How are you, beautiful?
Thank you. I'm good. Is there still a delay?
Try again.
Alexa, nobody's talking to you.
Sorry.
Alexa wanted to be part of the show.
My phone is going, Alexa is going, so I don't know what's going on right there. But yeah, it's an amazing piece that you did last night. So Luby, if people wants to follow you and follow your podcast, how do they do that?
It's on Apple Podcasts, and it's on Google Podcasts and Spotify. It's Loud Mouse. You have to put the Loud Mouse. So it's a podcast for our nonprofit, Papoose Mouse, PAPOUS MOUSE Inc. It's a cancer organization. So we help other cancer families, and we be with them in every way that we can, like how people were with us. So if the Loud Mouse is a way to try to raise awareness for the organization.
Correct. Awesome. So, Mark, I didn't want to forget too. You also have Say What You Want podcast that you bring the family into. Is that still going on? You stop sending me stuff, man.
Yeah, so we were doing that podcast for a little bit. We finished season 1. We had about 9 episodes. We took a little hiatus because COVID hit, so we stopped coming around each other as much. But it is something that we plan on picking back up. Just got to find some time. Everybody got a lot of things going on right now, but it's gonna come back for
All
sure.
right. And also, Melody and Wendy, they are great artists. They spend a lot of time on social media, trying to remind people of that part of themselves, their talents. If people want to follow you guys, especially your artwork and so forth, how do they get you?
I feel kind of put on the spot. I mean, I guess you guys can follow me at stop laughing at me. It's just at Wendy Darling Draws. Yeah. But if you go on there, don't act like you know me. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you for being here. I'm taking my time today to make sure that we put all the plugs in because we're getting close to closing the remedy for this year. We have a few things ahead that we are planning for our listeners, those of you who watch us on Facebook and on YouTube. There are some great things happening with the remedy. That next year will be awesome, awesome, awesome. So thank you so much for being here. So let's get started, guys. Listen, we just everybody, we all had our Thanksgiving dinner. I hope, I heard Luby and the gang, they had their little family gathering and they enjoyed their turkeys and so forth. So I want to ask, as we take a moment right now to kind of reflect, I wanted to know, if I could, what are you most thankful for? If you could take a look, despite of everything that took place in 2020, what are you most thankful for right now, as you sit right now at this very moment, on this very show? What are some of the things that you are most thankful for?
I guess I'll start. The easiest answer would probably be family. From my parents to my brothers, cousins, all the way down. But I think what I'm most thankful for would be my wife and my kids. And I say that because since I was, I think, 16, I went to a doctor and I had a physical. They did a real thorough physical and they even checked my sperm count. And they said they had a low sperm count and there was a high possibility that I wouldn't be able to have children. So that kind of affected me growing up, not knowing if I'll be able to have kids. And then to get married, have a wife, get pregnant, have one daughter, get pregnant again, have a son, which is what I always wanted, was a boy and a girl in whichever order. I'm just always thankful when I look at them, when they're playing, when they're running around, when I'm yelling at them to sit down. Like, I'm still thankful because I never thought that I would be able to be a parent based off of that one doctor. And I should have probably got a second opinion or whatever the case may be. But once he told me that, like, it really affected my life going forward. So year after year, I'm just going to continue to be thankful to have those two little ones.
Amen. Amen.
Melody and Wendy?
Okay, well, I guess I'll start. I think what I'm most grateful for this year especially is that I'm not alone. I was genuinely considering like staying on campus for school because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna focus with all of this going on, like especially being at home and like having to learn online. That ended up not happening, and I think God knew it was not the best decision because it's been rough. Like FaceTime is not enough. And honestly, like if I didn't have Wendy and my mom and like my sister coming over like every so often when she can, I would be really, really depressed. Like I don't know if I could get through all of this alone. Like I feel like we're each other's comfort. Ayo.
I love it.
I think I'm extremely grateful this year for technology because it really has like helped everyone still stay connected. Like even though I'm not able to like see so many people, I'm like, well, at least I'm able to give them a call or I'm able to FaceTime them or send them something stupid on Instagram and we can just laugh about it. Yeah, I'm really grateful for technology because it's able to keep us connected and also keep our minds off things too because I'm able to play games or draw or read a new book even though I can't go to the library. Is I don't know. I really am appreciative of that this year.
Amen to that. Pat?
This year has been very, very tough on our family. You guys know that we lost my mother-in-law back in April due to COVID. About a month ago, Louis lost his father's side, his Puerto Rican side of the family. His grandmother passed away. That was about a month ago. And I don't even know that you guys knew, back at the end of January, I was laid off from my job that I've been on for 5 years. But I have to tell you, I did not spend one day without a job. And in a time like this, when people cannot find job, I had 3 offers and did not spend one day without a job. So I am extremely thankful for that. We actually celebrated family giving yesterday. The kids decided they no longer want to do the Thursday things for reasons that we're not going to discuss here. So for the first time, we decided to do something on Friday, and it was very tough on my husband because I think the last 10 years we've always had Thanksgiving with my mother-in-law, understandably so. He wasn't in the right mind. None of us were, to be honest with you, but it's about, I remember something that my husband said, when my mom passed, life is about living. And that's why we make these moments and we cultivate these moments, because you always think that the person that's next to you or in front of you is going to be with you. And unfortunately, I think this year out of all years proved that that's not the case. And of course, I'm thankful for my family, my relatives, everybody that's healthy and fighting, even the ones amongst us that don't have the best of health, but we are fighting every day, but we are still alive. I'm thankful for my kids. I'm thankful for my husband. Everybody knows that I love family. I'm thankful for my extended family. I'm thankful for being able to talk to everyone in a time when it's so hard to do, because COVID doesn't understand that, hey, this is a tough year. I'm not going to give you a financial problem. I'm not going to give you, my neighbor had gallbladder emergency surgery 3 days ago. And we cooked yesterday and I bought her some food. COVID, then she was like, you know what? And she's a nurse. She said, I didn't want to go to the hospital. I've been in pain for the past week. And eventually the husband's like, you got to go. COVID then doesn't think about stuff like that. Other things in life still going to happen and we got to push through. So even more so this year, I'm just thankful for us being alive and be able to do the stuff that we call normal, even in a not so normal atmosphere.
So true. So true. And Lobi, what are you most thankful for this year?
I'm thankful for I'm going to go ahead and try to get this in because this technology refused to let me be great in Ruskin. So as long as you guys can hear me and my visual catches up, we're okay. We're going to push through. So
we'll save those for bloopers. Don't worry. Yeah, I think it's not working for you right now. We'll come back to you in a little bit, Luby, if you can hear me. For me, I want to say I'm thankful for many things. First of all, I'm thankful that I'm not alone, because I know it's been a very, very, very hard year for many people, and being alone has been one of the toughest things for people who are living by themselves. But again, like the girls mentioned, in the age of technology, that kind of helped a lot. But I want to say I'm thankful for all the blessings in my life. I want to say I'm thankful for my family, whether they are near or far. I always feel that um, no matter where you guys are, um, we're always together, and that's a beautiful thing. I know I can always call any of you at any given time, and you will make time for me. I want to say I'm grateful for my immediate family as well. My children, my wife. Um, you know, it's been a very challenging year. As you know, my wife, her business didn't work at all this year. Be that as it may, we still manage, we still thrive, um, and no matter what the challenges were, we were able to overcome them. And so, um, to me, that's amazing. COVID has really helped us to become even more resourceful, and using the gifts that we have, and knowing how to use them properly. I'm thankful for my church family. Even though we don't meet, I still feel their love. I still appreciate little texts that I get from there here and there. Um, I'm thankful for my parents. This year I realized there was a reason why I was in Philadelphia for this long, and during COVID time, I was there for them, and I always say this: I'm so grateful that they had me, that I was there to kind of help them to deal with everything that was going on with COVID and so forth. So there's a lot. I mean, if I want to take the entire show, I can take the entire show just to tell you how much I'm grateful for. I'm also grateful for my Remedy family. This is something that we kind of developed because of COVID, and it has evolved to something much bigger than I anticipated. I'm thankful for each and every one of you, and also for those who every week who watch us week after week after week, watch us either on Facebook, on YouTube. Listen, we appreciate you. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us, and we are grateful for you. So at this point, we're gonna turn the table a little bit. Yo, what's up? Ruby's back, and yes, yes,
I'm gonna
Hey,
try.
James.
Can you
yes.
guys
James,
hear
don't.
me?
Yes, it seems to
Okay.
be going well. Keeping fingers crossed.
Yeah, everything is fine for a minute.
Okay, so I want to say that I'm, of course, of everything, thankful for family and thankful that my law practice is still prospering in the midst of COVID. I am still getting business. I'm still getting, it's still moving. It's still floating. So I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful. I don't know too many people knew that my mom had COVID, and she we were very concerned for a little bit, and she's elderly, so she was in the hospital for a little bit, and I'm grateful that what could have been, God sustained her, and so we certainly don't take life for granted, especially knowing my history with our son having cancer. We know how precious life is, how fleeting it can be. So we're just grateful for that. And I am also grateful for being part of this Remedy family. Actually, um, this is the side of the family that we, the Agneses, didn't know too well. We didn't grow up with you guys. I mean, I know Tati, because Tati is just a family person. She's gonna reach out regardless. And so, in interacting with you guys and our meetings and such, and knowing the twins were not twins. I remember I remember meeting you guys when y'all was very little, and I was up in Michigan. I came by, and it was one visit. So just to see how you guys have grown up, just being able to be a part of y'all family, uh, it's and being welcomed. It's
it's great, because just because you're blood don't always make you family. So I appreciate being a part of it and just getting to know you guys.
Yeah. Well, Ruby, we love you. We're about to shed some tears right now. But
Yeah, I tell her that all the time because I get to hear, well, we don't know if we're going to be accepted. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're in the family. Stop.
Well, we have two people. I would say we have a list of people who are not here today. I wish Eddie was here. I wish Mandy was here. I wish my wife was here. I wish Woody was here. I wish Cynthia was here. So we have a list of other people.
And Charles.
And Jimmy Charles,
yeah.
So I want to tell them that we appreciate them as well, and we love them very, very much. So our Melody is getting bored. Okay, so let's move on. I love it how everything is on camera these days.
This is an early show. I'm still coping.
So, guys, we're gonna play a little game right now. And those of you who are watching the show, you can participate in this game as well. Okay, you can ask any of us a question, either a question that we are dealing with at this particular moment, or a question that you want to know about any one of us. Okay, we're gonna play a game called We Are Not Strangers, but this is the Remedies version of the game. Okay, the reason why I feel like today is one of those days that we just need to chill for a little bit, take a day off, just to have a moment to laugh and enjoy each other's company. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 17:22 that a joyful heart is a good medicine, right? But a broken spirit dries up the bones. So if you want to be on a diet, you need to have a broken spirit. You'll get really skinny, basically. That's what the Bible is saying. But the Bible is also saying that if you have a joyful heart, it's a good medicine. So it's good to laugh. It's good to be happy. It's good to enjoy each other's company. And you don't have to feel guilty for doing it. So I want to take this moment to say, for those of you who are watching, once again, you can participate in this game. But I'm going to start with the first question, and you guys can decide who should answer that question. Okay. So the first question is, what is the most attractive quality about this person that isn't physical? So that's the first question. Who should answer that question as a group? Who do you guys should answer that question? You have to unmute your settings right now.
I vote Melody.
You vote for Melody to answer it. All right, everybody else agree? All right, so Melody, this one is for you.
Yeah.
What is the most
This question is supposed to be y'all telling me.
about you?
This question is about y'all telling me.
No,
We're asking each other the questions.
no, you're very
You're trying to change
attractive.
the rule.
You're attractive. You stand out. You got blue hair. What's not physical? Answer that question.
But we're supposed to answer because we did the game last night, and I know my oldest one has done it before. We're supposed to pick a person, like for instance, if we pick Melody, we're supposed to answer it for her.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right. So,
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
So-
All of us
You know what I'm talking about.
have a question about Melody.
Yeah,
Thank
she's
you, thank
supposed
you,
to
thank
answer her own question. We're supposed to answer, so we can go. I think I can start if that's okay
Sure.
for Melody.
So this is about Melody, okay?
So about Melody, it's intellectual.
Thank you. That makes me feel so good.
For me, I think Patty, you already said intellectual. One of the things that I always say about Melody was the size of her brain. I remember she was maybe 4 or 5, and she used to say to me, if I say, the sky is blue, she will say, well, technically, Dad, according to, and then she'll go ahead and change everything that I said before that. She was like a walking encyclopedia. That's why I used to call her the brain, Melody the brain. So yeah, intellectual is definitely one of your characteristics.
Thank you.
I guess I'll go because I spend the most time with you. I definitely say it's like your diction or like just the way you talk. Because Melody, she gives like the best advice and she'll just go on just for so long. And I'm just like, I'm really paying attention. Like, I feel so engaged. Like, she'll even give advice to my friends. Like, we'll be on FaceTime. And I'm just like, Melody, what do you think about this? Give your take. Like, whenever you talk, it's just like you really have a presence and people just want to listen.
So true, so true.
So I'll jump on and say kind of what Patty and Mondi was saying about Mello, knowing Mello since she was born and stuff. Mello, she doesn't just talk straight, right? Like conversation is happening and stuff, and you think she's not paying attention. She's quiet. Her mind is working, and she's just like trying to figure out what she wants to say, how she wants to say it. And most of the time it comes out the most educated statement in the room. So then it's like, I don't even want to talk to Mello anymore because a lot of stuff that she's thinking about. But your mind, Mello, has always been a great quality. And as long as you keep feeding it, it'll never go anywhere.
Thank you.
All right. Luby? I think Luby is on the delay.
Oh, I agree. Everything. I was just there's nothing else to add. Just intellect. She is so. I'm just so amazed by the words that come out. I'm just like, how old is she again? Like what? Was I even thinking like that when I was this age? Like, she blows me. So I mean, everybody. There's nothing really. You know, if you don't have anything else to add, it's just smile. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go to another question. How would you describe now? Before I read the question, who wants to go next? Who should we grill for next?
This one.
You gotta read it though? It doesn't matter. Do you have to read
do
the
question first, then we can think of.
This is the question. How would you describe this person to a stranger? All right, there's a vote. The vote is on Melody. All right.
So Wendy, let's go.
So how would you describe Melody to a stranger?
No, Wendy.
Wendy to a stranger.
Wendy.
So Wendy is fun-loving, but don't cross her. Right? So she'll laugh, she'll joke, she'll play with you, but the moment you cross her, it's a problem, and you don't want to have that problem with Wendy.
I said I'm nice.
She's super nice, super loving. Just don't cross Wendy. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if I was going to describe
from the show, well, from the show, you can tell when everybody is giving their opinion. If Wendy don't agree, she'll let everybody speak, and then she'll go,
"Yeah,
so, but I don't understand," or "But why?" Well, why? And she just tell you, she not gonna agree because the masses agree. She's just gonna tell you, and I'm like, yep. I mean, girl got my own. Yeah, this is.
For me, though, there's another side of her that I think maybe I know a little bit more. Wendy, to me, is more like the peacemaker. When there's chaos everywhere, there's chaos all around you, she has this sense of calmness within her that tends to just, she's the one remind me of Randy Pete, whatever his name was, like, can we all just get along? She's like, I remember she was just a little thing, and she's like, we were talking about love, right? love and between different race, love between different gender orientation or whatever. She's like, well, love is love. Can people just love? It's like she's to me, she's the peace, she's like the peacemaker.
For me, I used to be with them when they were so young, and even like what Wendy looks like now. We were talking about it at home. I'm still seeing her at that 5-6-year-old that used to be around, because there's like a big gap between that and the time that I got on the show. And she was so sweet, and I still see her at that little sweet girl. But I'll tell you, from last week discussion, I realized do not cross them. So yes, I have to say, yeah, she definitely has the sweetness, at least from what I've seen, the sweetness in her. But that whole don't cross that. Don't cross them. Don't cross them the wrong way. Just don't. But Wendy is beautiful and wonderful and definitely extremely polite. But we'll definitely tell you like it is when it needs to be.
Yeah. If I was going to describe my sister, I would say she is the funniest sibling, hands down. She won that down pack. And you definitely have a lot of passion. But you're also like so like intuitive, I think. Like I think you know when there's a problem, and if you don't have the answer, you're gonna come to somebody who does. And I just watching her get more open it's very exciting for me. Because she used to be a little closed off. But I think that she's growing into a great person, and I'm really excited to see like the next part of her life.
Ew!
So sweet. She's like, don't be
They're like the sweetest sisters.
This is my baby.
All right. Next question.
Thank you.
Next question is this. Let me just post it right here. When the game is over, or when we have to say goodbye, what will be something you will remember about this person the most? When our journey is done here on Earth, what would you remember about this person the most? So, who do we want to grill this time?
Uncle
Wait,
Markel.
the other way.
Yeah. All right. So, Markel, you're on the grill right now. So the question is, what? I mean,
so it should be to us. It should be to us. So we'll have to say what we would remember about Markel the most.
Yes. Correct. Correct.
Can I say before you guys go and answer? Because Kels is the person I haven't had much time to get to know. And he doesn't know this. None of you guys know this. They actually have a picture on Amazon. And I bought a dress. And, so I bought a dress for my anniversary picture. And we were looking through the pictures, and I was like, oh, bet I look like them. So I said, babe, we're gonna do just like those pictures. So I'm showing my sister, Ruth, the picture. And I said, this is what I'm looking for. This is the look I'm going for. And she was like, we know them. I was like, no, we don't. Yes, we do. We know them. I was like, who are these people? So Luby, that's your cousin. That picture. Listen. So then, just like, oh my God. So I text people. Oh yeah, that's Monty's brother. And it's like, oh, okay. So then when we went to your parents' house, July, there goes the picture. That's like, oh my God, we have such a beautiful family.
Yeah, it was
what I will remember rest of my life. I was going to imitate this picture. I was gonna put it all over Facebook, like, bam, look at us. Hey, and it's like, oh, it's already done. Sorry, so we go. So you guys, so that's
me,
my memory of you, which I will always remember once you leave.
Thank you.
for me, Markel, I call him my little brother because it's for as long as I can remember, it's always been the little brother. But I've watched this guy grow into this person that sometimes I look at him and I'm like, but that's my little brother. You know what I mean? Like, this is Markel now in the middle of 25 men, and he's dictating to them how they should play the game. And I'm like, but that's my little brother. You know, that's the one we used to just bring around and teach him how to play ball. And that's my little brother. So to watch him grow, it's an amazing, amazing thing. So, but one thing I can say about you, Markel, is that you are full of passion. Markel, if Markel is with you, he is 100% with you. And the same way, if he's not with you, he is 0% not with you. So he's all in or he's not in at all. He can't play in the middle. He can't just be in the middle. He's either 100% in or is not in at all. And I really, really appreciate that character, that part of you. And so if anything goes, man, I will always remember, beside being a great coach, but your passion. You're passionate about your family. You're passionate about your work. You're passionate about the game. You're passionate. It's always passion. He never does anything halfway. Like, I remember when he started taking weightlifting. I mean, come on, man. This is my little brother. Now he's telling me how to lift weight. I'm like, dude, I've been doing this for so long, you know. He's walking around showing his muscles. He's like, I may not be as big as you, but I'm getting there. He's passionate. Right? So he's always passionate about anything that he does. He put his all in it. And I think that is a great character for a man of God to have. So way to go, man. Way to go.
For me, I have to say, again, we grew up very, very close at the beginning and then kind of fell apart. And then now with the show. So there were many years where, you know, a lot of it was more peripheral than anything. But I remember when Markel was born, my sister's Markel's godmother. You know, we've known Markel since he was born. We've gone to his christening and stuff like that coming home. So again, when he used to come by the house, I always saw him as a little brother because him and my brother they were very close. So it was always the cousins that were, you know, my brother's friends, cousins as well. But I didn't know him as much as, you know, I'm starting to know him now. But I've always heard that Markel was very passionate, very loving, and very, very passionate. And I actually love the fact that now that we're older, we're doing the show together because now we get to know each other. Like I don't remember, there was one of the show that I guess my camera kept on going out and I was like, you know what, I'm done. There were too many people.
She just got kicked out.
Just like today.
That's just like you couldn't plan that any better.
Right.
That
was like so on point.
On point, self-prophecy. But I'm sure she'll be back. So let's continue. So I guess we're gonna go to the girls.
Yeah. Definitely. What I remember most is just like growing up. I don't even know if I remember when you came to Michigan, but you were always like the cool, fun uncle. It's like, he's so much younger than my dad. He's so fun. He has so much energy. It's just like, and your dog Blue. Oh my gosh, I miss him so much. But just like having that presence around, like. It always felt like I had my dad's family around, even though we were so far. And it was just like, yeah, it was fun. And I think like I'm always going to cherish those memories that we had with each other from like when we were young. Don't tell Uncle Eddie.
He's watching today, so.
I can definitely say, like, you're so caring, like, and I even knew that, like, when back in Michigan, as young as I was just like, my uncle, like, he truly cares about me. I remember one of my most fondest memories was when you picked me up from preschool, and it was only one day, too. And I was just like, this was the best day. I got to just hang out. It was so nice.
You remember hanging around campus with me and stuff?
Yeah. And yeah, I could just definitely say, like, you're so caring and loving. You truly, oh Malcolm, like you will always be the one to just check up and be like, if you guys are in trouble or anything, you can always come to me.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't have the answers, you're just like, you can come to me to talk to. And yes, I love that so much about you. So.
Yeah. So Pat, I think we're gonna have a new nickname for you because you are like a prophet. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
What happened?
Go ahead, because as you were talking, right, the moment you say that you were online and you got disconnected, on the dot you got disconnected.
I don't know what's going on, so I'm actually calling from now. I don't know. I guess the yard is still having turkey.
What? So go ahead. You were saying something about Markel.
So I said that he's passionate, and I remember he texted me. He was like, "Are you okay?" Because I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." It's just, I just kept on coming off. But again, instantly he texted me to make sure that I was okay. So I've always known him to be extremely passionate, and even throughout the family, I've always heard that Markel was extremely passionate.
True. So true.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Encouraging words. Yes.
All right. So we're gonna move on to the next question. Oh, I like that one. So let me put this one up for you guys. Once again, for those of you who are watching, if you have a specific question that you would like to ask any one of us in the group, please feel free to write it down. So the next question is, what do you think I should know about myself that perhaps I'm unaware of? Something you should know about yourself, but you're not aware of. So who should this one be for?
Luby. And
yeah.
I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna piggyback off you, Luby, because
this is Luby. You're gonna be Gwen right now, okay?
Because we don't know each other that much, right? Just like you mentioned. But what you're unaware of from the time that I've been noticing you and talking to you and seeing you is that you, what's the best way I could put this? It's just like the way your heart operates for the people that you love and care about, the stories you shared about your family, the things that you're doing today. I learned that you got a whole podcast with your family. Like the way you go about being family, wanting to be in this podcast, being concerned that you wouldn't be accepted. Like I'm still learning so much, but your heart just wants to always be with family and in the right place. And with me, because I'm so passionate about my family and stuff, there's no way that me and you wouldn't work together. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I would always be on your team. You would always be on my team. That's just, I feel like we just connect there. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it how you are, the way that you talk. Like that's for me, from what I picked up. I don't know if you're aware of that, but you need to know that you go for your family.
Well said. Well said.
I think for me, I feel like I've always heard about cousin Luby or cousin this, that, the third. But it's always been like I don't know if you're aware of the presence that you have, because like you were saying, oh, I'm not sure if I'll be accepted. I was waiting for the family reunions. I'm ready to see everybody. I'm ready to see you. I'm ready to see the family. I want to see Papu. Like I think we're a lot closer now than ever, but I feel like I've always known you and I've always wanted to be close. And yeah.
Even though we, just recently met and all that stuff, I just feel you think you would fade into the background, but you really don't. Like, your presence is very forthright. Even if you might be quieter, I can feel like you're just paying attention. You have other stuff going on, but you're still engaged in the conversation.
Yeah, for me, Luby, she's like a puzzle that I'm trying to put together. And every time I find another piece, it fits so well. The more I put those pieces together, the more I'm getting this beautiful image of who this person is. And what I mean by puzzle is Luby doesn't show you who she is at the beginning. She gives you a little bit at a time when it's needed. So she, because of that, you always have to wait for that next piece to put the previous piece together to get a good picture. So far, Luby, and by putting all those pieces together, what I find by just listening to you and watching you and listening to how other people talk about you and listening to the kids, I can say that you are 100% in this. When I say 100% in this, I mean, when it comes to your family, listen, you are in this for life, okay? It's almost like your life evolved around your family. They are your trophies, okay? And it's beautiful to see, and a woman who's busy, who's working. You got your law practice to deal with. You could have said, well, you know what, I'll pay somebody to watch the kids or whatever. No, you are involved in their lives 100%, and to see how you have been there from the get-go with your son, and those kids, they don't say anything without saying something about mommy. And I heard, just last night, just listening to the podcast, I see the dynamic in the family. I see how wonderful it is that, and I gotta say it takes a woman to put all that together. I love your husband. We spent some time talking together a little bit. I know that he's a deep thinker and all, but just like I said about Markel, I think you're a woman full of passion, and you are, when you are in something, you are in it for good. And so, in case you were not aware of that, I'm just letting you know right now, okay? That when it comes to the family, listen, from the get go, after we spent what a few minutes talking on the phone, and I was like, you know what, I like this woman. I listen, I've heard about you. I kind of know about you, but I really didn't know you until you became part of the family. Again, I'm talking about the Remedy family. And man, let me tell you, it's a joy to have you. So when you're not here, I do miss you. Okay. But when you are here, it's really freaking awesome. So I
Quick
just want to
story,
let you
quick
know.
story, quick story, because I know Patty's next. But Luby might not know this, but when we was in Florida for Toto Arnold's funeral,
Uncle Arnold's funeral, yes.
Arnold's funeral, we were told that we're going to hang out with cousins, and we came to your house, I believe. That was your house that we stopped at, and then the whole time I'm just like, what cousin is this? I guess I'll learn them because we have other family cam that I've never met before, which sucks, honestly. And I think that's why we're doing these shows. And I think that's why we're doing the family reunion, because a lot of time our families get together for a death and a wedding. And we need to get together more than that so we can learn more about each other and be there for each other and stuff. But one thing that stood out to me was while everyone was laughing and joking, one thing that you made sure happened before we left was we took a picture. And I remember all of us standing at the door with our
Yes,
kids,
yes.
and you made sure that that photo was taken. And I'm like, that's just something that always stood out to me when I first met you down in Florida. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Patty. I think Patty.
No, probably.
Luby, can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So I've had the opportunity to, I guess, mingle with Luby for a bit more. I think from your wedding on, whatever. Luby actually came to my house last year for about 12 days with her family, and
I enjoyed every moment. The kids, Luby, her husband, and we've had several weddings where Luby and her family attended. She's extremely resilient. I think, as Mundy stated, she does let people in a little bit at a time, um, but she's extremely resilient and definitely about her family. And um, she's been through a lot, but she's extremely resilient and a great individual, a great person to know. I'm also very, very happy that I've gotten to know that side of the family a little bit more. But she's extremely resilient, extremely resilient.
Oh,
You like that? I
this
like
is
that
so
smile. I
awesome.
just
You
love
can
the
make me
smile.
really cry.
All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. The next question. What about me is most strange or unfamiliar to our viewers? So here's the question, and we'll post it up now. What about me is most strange or unfamiliar to those watching The Remedy? So who should we grill now?
Papa, I think it's your turn.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. I think something that people don't really expect when they first meet you is how goofy you are. Um, I think you have a certain presence, especially when you get on stage and like you preach and everything. And you work in healthcare, so someone's first thought is not, oh, this is a very funny guy. I think people assume that you're going to be really serious, and then they meet you like, oh my God, he's hilarious. And like seeing, especially like when you've like met some of your friends, they're like, your dad's a pastor, like not in a bad way, but they're just like, he's so much funnier than I thought. Like they think that you're gonna be like a really serious person. And I like it. I'm like, yeah, my dad's the funny one.
I think for me is, I guess, how open you are. I feel like maybe to the viewers it would seem not you're more reserved, but like sometimes when you see pastors, you're not expecting them to be open about their own life or their own opinions. Usually they just take it straight from the book. They never reach out to other sources. So, but with you, you're very, I think even more so in recent years, you're very open to listening from other perspectives and also checking with the word and just receiving a lot of different information and just seeing how it works together.
Yeah. I think you're very transparent too.
Yeah.
I think for me, as youngest brother, you have evolved. So this brother that I have now is not the same brother that I had growing up.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? I remember, just like the girls are saying, you used to seem strict, but you're not as strict. I remember one time, I think I was like 15, and I said something back to you that I wasn't supposed to say, and you threw hands at me, right? And Eddie remembers this story a lot because Eddie was in the other room laughing the whole time that you was beating me up. And that just goes to show that you were straight by the book. Education wise, you was by the book. You had class, you had school, you had to do this, you took care of that. Da-da-da. That's how I always remembered you, right? And then we spent a lot of time together when we was in Michigan, when we both went to the same university. So I got to see another light in you. When I'm back in Philadelphia, I got to see another light in you. The show saw another light. We're in communication all the time, so it's not like I'm not talking to you for a couple weeks or whatever like that. But it's just you've evolved to this different brother, this different guy, this different pastor, this different Mondi, that the viewers don't really get to see all the different sides of you. But this side, I think, for me, and maybe because I'm older, also is most enjoyable because not only do I get the older brother who I can count on for love, support, and advice, I also get the one that I can say jokes with that can make me laugh. The one that sends me basketball stuff, the one that asks me weightlifting questions because he's not as big as me. Like I get all that brother, you know what I'm saying? So I think what is unfamiliar to the viewers is because you're on this show and you're the host of the show in a sense, but they haven't seen the journey and they don't get to see the evolution of Pastor D.
True.
I'm gonna need that story
I think
later on.
what's strange,
Like after.
I think what's strange for the viewers, but is needed today, are your views and how you give the word. As a pastor, growing up, you expect them to be very close-minded. You expect them to understand that Christians are just like anybody else. We make mistakes. We sin, and sin is sin, and we all just need to get to the point of, God's grace. And you show that even through this show. When I first saw this show, and it was pastor, and I was like, oh, negative, I'm out. And so I just expected it to be a whole bunch of rhetoric, and I'm like, I ain't got the kind of time for that. But when in listening to it, and you don't beat people up for their views, you don't like, oh, you're gonna go to hell, or how can you be a Christian and think XYZ? You let people speak and you steer them in your philosophy, but you don't force it on them. You said, this is what the Bible says, this is what it is, and I mean, you could take it and take it. And so I think that's strange. That's like unexpected, and it's not something you see often. My pastor's like that, so it's refreshing to see another pastor who have the same philosophy. We could joke with you and not be concerned that you're going to stop as like, blah, 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 blah. You're just like, guys, come on. Well, really what the Bible says, like, here we go. So, it's refreshing. It's refreshing. So I think it's strange, and it's a good strange.
Thank you so much.
For me, I grew up with Monday like brother and sister. We actually didn't grow up like cousin. We literally grew up like brother and sister. And as the girls mentioned, Monday was the goofiest ever.
Yeah.
Always laughing, always like do things in the house to make you laugh. So that was that. But I have to say, I agree with Markel that I've seen Monday evolved from a different Monday, which is fine because that's what life is supposed to be about. For me, Monday's more open, and more specifically as a pastor, definitely have more of a trailblazing personality. Leading back to what everybody have said, not necessarily saying this is how things have to be. And I know I pushed the limit on the show. I know I would. Just the fact that, he goes and do his research and doesn't, granted it is a Christian show and we eventually go back to the Christianity of things, but the different opinions are heard and, they don't necessarily have to be accepted. That's fine. But just the fact that he's able to listen and say, okay, have you thought about it this way? Or this is how I'm seeing it. I think is extremely refreshing. And I've actually enjoyed the past 7 or 8 months of coming together as a family unit. And again, my husband said that all the time. He's like, I think what you guys are doing as a family is awesome. It's definitely something to get you guys together again as adult and trying to understand, okay, what is this person like? I mean, I know what they were like, when they were kids, but what are they like now? What can we tolerate from each other? Because we all know there are some days that come out of that meeting, I'm like, I just want to, oh my God, okay, all right. But yeah, definitely the trailblazing personality and allowing people to voice their opinion definitely in a respectable manner is definitely something that I definitely admire about you, and then the silliness that you have as well.
Thank you.
There's a message on Facebook that says Pastor D is a warm-hearted young pastor. He knows how to welcome everyone, blood or not. And it says, love your beautiful girls. You're a wonderful family, father, and a pastor. Keep the message in faith. God cares for us, all human beings. Amen. Keep safe, family. Amen.
Amen. This is from Sister Noah Gordon. Sister Noah, we appreciate you and thank you so much for sharing those beautiful words with us and the family. Our next question, obviously, is going to go to Pat. I think this is very soothing, a perfect question for her. Is what do you think the perfect gift for her would be and why? Okay. So
I think he left that one for me. I think he left that one for me.
No. Me.
Absolutely.
Ooh, me.
You can go first, Luby. Absolutely.
Listen. So if I had the money, I would take Patty to Africa. I would take her to Africa and for her to study and for her to visit everything there is to know about Africa, because this chick is on an Africa path of trying to find where our bloodline, and we are Mother Africa, and we are Black Power, and I am no longer going to abide by the white man's rule and this and that. And let me tell you, this and this. So she needs to take a trip to the motherland and have all of her questions answered. That's her perfect gift.
Well said.
So listen, let me say how accurate that is, because I wasn't going to say Africa because I didn't know that part. But my response was going to be, Patty would want to have her own secluded like island that family could come to, but be there by herself and study and focus on whatever her mind wants. Because when she's on that learning curve path, like, I love you. Give me a hug. Give me a second. I'm studying this. I'll be back. You got 2 degrees, I think, right? Don't you got like 2 or 3 degrees? Like, and you currently studying for another one or something like that? Like,
almost done.
There is street smart people and there is book smart people, and Patty is the bookiest books. That's not even a real word, but bookiest book smart person that I know, and she loves to continue to learn about whatever question that pops into her mind. If there's no defined answer to it, and even if you have a defined answer, there's still a like, but how did you come up with that? And she still tries to figure out her own answer to whatever her question
is. So true.
So far.
So true. I'm gonna go on a different train track, if I may. From just watching you and listening to you and observing you. I'm an observer. I get paid to observe people. So I kind of develop certain skills and be able to pinpoint certain things from people. And from being around you, Pat, and watching you and see how Markel kind of mentioned it in a way. If you could buy an island and buy a house for every single member of your family to believe in that island, you will want all of us to live in that same island so that we can always be together. There's something innate in you that kind of, you're always trying to figure out a way to connect with the family, whether it's by phone, whether it's by going on a trip or whatever ways. And even when we are disconnect, I can feel from listening to you that it hurts you, because every family goes through it sometimes. We go through things, but when you listen to Pat and she's talking about whatever that is, and you can tell that there's a little disconnect in her, and she wishes that maybe if we could get over this hump so that we can become one again, um, it will make it will be awesome. So, having said that, there's another gift that I think for you, Pat. I'm gonna say beside the family one, the second gift that I realize um, you want from everyone, and if I'm wrong, please tell me. Okay, I believe Pat wants people's loyalty. Because you invest so much in other people, it's almost as if you feel betrayed if people are not being loyal to you, or if people are not at least investing a little bit back into your life. Tell me if I'm wrong here, right? Because if it, from just listening to you, you're a giver. You give yourself, you give your time, you give your energy, you give your resources, you give, and all you want from people is maybe the word loyalty is not the word. Maybe all you want is for them to at least learn to appreciate that part and love you back. Maybe the word is love.
I think that you are definitely right. I've been very blessed in my life, very very blessed. I understand we need money to do what we need to do in life. But to me, someone's loyal. When you're loyal to me, I have you for life, because loyalty means the world to me. Knowing that even if you haven't spoken to someone for 10 years, if you need something, that person has your back, to me, that's priceless.
Yeah.
And as far as family, I guess I get that from my mom, because my mom was like that. But you guys have to also understand, we lost a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what every single day means. And to me, as Markel has said, it's not the funerals and stuff like that, because no one, and Luby was at my house. Monday, you were at my house July last year, and you saw my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law was someone that was never sick. She was 73 years old. She was flying her own. As a matter of fact, the next day she was going to Trinidad on vacation. So for somebody to have told me this today, that this year would have spent Thanksgiving without her, I would have said, hell no. We know that these things happen, but when it happens to us, it's a different story. So I've learned that every second counts, and family means a lot to me. It really, really means a lot to me. And I know this family, unfortunately, would bicker with this or that. Yes, it does make me sad when, one person is not talking to the next or whatever. And we're like, this is what this world is about. Specifically in 2021, if someone has not reached out to a family member, I don't think they'll ever reach out to that family member. So for me, loyalty means a lot, because I give a lot. I don't, and my husband tells me all the time, you don't give to receive. And it's true. But I don't know of anybody. I'm a peacemaker. I like peace, I think, more than anything. I want the family to be in harmony. I want all of us to be okay. I want all of us to see each other. Because unfortunately, some of us are not going to be around every year. We don't know which one. So that means a lot to me. Like I said, I've been blessed. I don't want people to think that, Patty needs this from you. No, I just want the family to be together and love each other.
Mm-hmm. So this is why I get paid the big bucks, as I said. So I pinpoint the two things that I know you will agree with. Yes, let's Luby.
Can I add? I know before the girls go, I'm sorry, twins. I never got a chance to get to know your mother. And from stories that my mom would tell me, and all of the older adults would say, that your mom was the glue. Like, if she could, she would have a party and have every family member there. She would have a party just because. and family was so important to her. And while I don't know her personally, I feel like every time I speak to you or every time I see you and the way that you go about with your family and how it hurts you to see certain discourse among the family, I see a reflection of her and what my mother is always talking about. She say, oh my goodness, if she was here, we would already blah 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 blah. And I see that in you. So you know, I say another gift, I guess, if we could, maybe a small reflection or maybe a small snip of being able to tell your mom that you are taking up where she left off.
Yes.
I guess that would be something, a gift that I think you and she would appreciate, because she left an open space and you just slipped right in. Like, this is,
Yeah.
you just took over.
Yeah. So
Thank
true.
you.
So
true.
how are we supposed to follow all of that?
Right.
I don't know.
No way.
That's why they
Y'all
pay me
went
the big
we
You
hard.
That's why they paid
you
me
gotta
No
do the
the
mercy.
movie. You gotta do the
bucks.
movie.
We kept trying to jump in. I mean, I knew my gift, but like that, I'm like, I don't know. Do you really want that? I'll just get on with it. I was gonna say free college tuition for the rest of your life, because I know those college classes might be expensive.
Yeah.
And you're on your third degree. I'm just like, but yeah, I mean, y'all already said all the sweet things. I was something funny in there, but okay, well, from everything that I have gathered from my research now, I think a perfect gift would be I think a similar mindset from everybody else, because one person doesn't make a family. And I think if we were all working just as hard to make sure we were all like able to spend time with each other or being in harmony, it would run a lot smoother, and I think it would be better for all of us. But I think it would make Patty really happy. So yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I have to say, Kate sent me a text to let me know that you guys are all saying the right thing about Pat. She say it's so true that Pat will give the clothes off her back to someone if that person is in need. So there goes to say that where we are and how we feel about you. It's amazing, and we are lucky to have you in our lives. Okay, so
Thank
we're gonna
you.
move on,
Thank
guys.
you,
We're gonna move
Kira.
on. We're gonna move on. This the next few questions are a little bit more personal. Okay, so it's gonna and it's gonna require for you to think a little bit about yourself. What title would you give this chapter in your life? What title would you give this chapter of your life? So, I don't know how we're gonna go about it. Are we gonna answer it personally, or we
Yeah,
want
I think it
someone
should
to
be
answer it?
personal.
Okay, so I think this is a personal question, definitely a personal question. So, who wants to take a crack at this?
My kids asked me that yesterday because we played the game yesterday. Go ahead, Melody.
Oh, okay. I think I was looking at this question too, because I was when he sent the game in. Thanks, guys. But I think this one would be, if I'm not a student, what am I? Because I'm getting to that part where, like, I can see that I still have like a long way to go within like my education, but I've been a student my whole life, and now I'm an adult, and it's like kind of different. And I'm thinking, this is not forever. Like, I have a lot of time after schooling and everything like that. And I don't really want my identity to be formed around my profession, because I feel like I'm so much more than that. So I guess I'm just trying to figure out who I am really, like, besides all the intellectual things and studying.
Yeah. I before you go ahead, Wendy, I read a book called Emerging Adulthood, Melody. I may pass it down to you. Um, Only because exactly what you're talking about is what I expect. This is exactly what I expect you, where I expect you to be in your life right now as you are evolving into adulthood. You are definitely in a place where you're trying to figure out who am I, and this is perfect. And the book talks about it, and you fit that book perfectly. So yeah.
Alright, well,
So what title would you give this chapter in your life? So you still thinking, Wendy?
we can move on and then
We can
Yeah.
move on. All right. So who wants to go next?
I don't have a problem. I told my kids yesterday, I said sucks. Um
Yeah.
it's definitely I mean 10 years ago, I think I was on top of the world, literally. And I know people would say, what do you mean you're not on top of the world? I have chronic allergies that some days I just want to literally just like pound my head and just like, all the congestion and stuff like that. So that can definitely make you feel in awe sometime. And also in terms of where life is, I guess what you call your midlife crisis per se. It's just not where I was or where I want to be, but just stuck somewhere and you're trying to figure it out and it's just not going in the same steps that you want to go, but you have to go through it. And then on top of all, I'm going through menopause, so I want to really hurt people a lot of time. So, it's just like that feeling, that gloomy feeling. But in the same token, I'm resilient. I'm a Christian, so you have that shoulder saying you got to push on. There will be better days, and it could be worse. It could be worse. It could be worse. And then the other Patty is like, well, it could be better. It was better. So just kind of like that influx stage, and overall, it would be sucks, but it will get better.
So my chapter or title would be, in the words of Jay-Z, it would say, allow me to reintroduce myself.
My name is
yeah, right? and just based on kind of everyone is kind of saying the same thing. Patty just mentioned it a little bit. Growing up, I had goals that I wanted to achieve, right? And things happen in life. Not always in the same timeline that you wanted it to happen. It may have happened earlier, may have happened later. The goals may have gotten conquered, may have been pushed back or what. But now I'm at a new place in my life, being that I'm a father, a husband, and things of that sort. I still have those individual things that I wanted to achieve, but I got to go about it differently, right? But I still want to make sure I get it. I still want to go after it. I'm still hungry for those same goals. So let me just reintroduce the person who's going after those goals. It's not the same Markel who was 17 years old at the time. I'm grown now. I'm 33. So it's like, let me reintroduce this grown man and still go after the same type of goals. That will be the title chapter in my life currently.
Can I say something real quick? Just because Markel touched on it. Another thing for me is my kids. My kids are 21, 22, 23. For the past 20-something years, my identity was linked to my kids. I did everything for my kids. And now it's like, where my husband's like, yay! And I'm like, no. Like, I don't even know who this new person is, because everything was linked to my kids. I was very involved in my kids.
So Patty, yeah, so I'm working on a new book. So that kind of describe exactly what you're talking about right now. So if you want to, I can share with you a little bit of that that will help you along the way as well.
Sure.
Are you really writing a book? Are you really writing a book?
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. This is like a real question.
Yeah, you're not in it though.
No. You see what happened? What I'm trying to say, I really think you should write a book. I think a lot of your perception and how you approach things, not just parenting, your marriage, your relationship with family, your career position, things that you've done in your career. I think you have a great insight and perception that a lot of people can learn from by you putting it in a book and just selling it. It could be.
You know, Mark, just 2 days ago, my wife and I we were going for a walk and we were just talking about this all over again. I told her, retirement doesn't look like it doesn't look close to me at all because I'm always going to be writing. I do feel, just like you said, that there's a lot inside of me that I need to let out. I need people to be able to read. And even about the gospel, I do feel that the majority of people who are serving God are serving a God that they don't know. And it's because that's how it was taught to them.
Mhm.
And so I wanna share that part of me with the world. So yeah, absolutely. And so yeah, so looking forward to finishing some of them, hopefully before I die. I'm planning to be here for another 40 years. So 40 years, it's a long time, but
You
by God's grace, it's gonna happen. It's
you
definitely
said
gonna happen.
Man.
Wait
you
a
said
minute.
you said before I die, and the girls was like, "What? What are you talking about?"
This is not no. I already had a conversation with God, like we worked everything out. Yeah, you don't even gotta worry about that one. Yeah. Sorry. Living forever. I
Well,
started to break it to you. Yeah.
talking about this chapter in your life, if I could put a title on where I am right now, I would say I will put the word awesome with a small a, not awesome to describe myself, but awesome to where I am. Um, I feel that where I am right now, even in my relationship with God, is it's so free. It's beautiful that I kind of love the way it is now than it was when I was in my 20s and my 30s. It's a different type of relationship, and it consumes me in so many ways. Even when I'm dealing with problems or whatever, if people look at me, they would think that I don't have any stress, that I don't show people that when I'm stressful. They don't know when I'm stressful. At work, nobody can tell if I'm stressed. Um, and it's because of that. I think that I have learned that no matter what's going on in your life, take the good, take the bad, take the ugly, and drink it all. It's part of what it is. It's part of what life is. It's not always going to be blooming. It's not always going to be great. Pat, you mentioned that earlier, but part what makes life beautiful is the ability to take the good, to take the bad, to take the ugly, and struggle with all of them. Sometimes you're gonna struggle. You may struggle in your relationship. You may struggle with the way you raise your kids. You may struggle in your relationship with your parents, and I mean with work or whatever. There's always a struggle somewhere, but part of the struggle it's for your own good too. Like you grow when you struggle, when you finally overcome whatever that was, you grow. Like I look at my relationship with my parents right now, it's amazing. And I'm like, man, I wish I had that when I was in my 20s and 30s, but no, it was a rocky relationship. But we needed to grow. I needed to grow. My parents needed to grow. One of the most beautiful thing I experienced was sitting across the room with my mom, and she was talking to me about if she'd ever did anything to me, she want to apologize. And she went and kind of pull out a specific event that happened, and she apologized to it. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Now this is a grown woman who's in a place right now where she can really look at her life and say, you know what, I've done some good, but I also have done some bad, and I want to make sure that whoever I've done wrong to, they know that I'm sorry for what I've done. At that moment in my life, I thought it was the right thing. You know what I mean? And vice versa. So I'm saying all that to say that's where we are, and that's where I am right now. I'm in that position where I feel like this is really awesome, an awesome place to be. You're in a place where Your people's opinion about you don't matter anymore. I don't know if you guys in your 18, 19, you're not there yet, but you will. I remember when I turned 40, I woke up that morning and I stretched, right? And for the first time in my life, I say to myself, Monday, you're 40 years old. Guess what? From this day forward, I don't care what people think about me. And I started living my life according to that. I was not making decisions based on what the church member is going to think, based on what my parents going to think, based on what my wife is. No, it was based on where I am right now and my relationship with God first and foremost, and what is the best thing for me to do as a father. What is the best thing for me to do as a parent? What is the best thing for me to do? And you know what? That best thing may not be what they think, but that's okay. We can talk about it. I'm flexible enough. We can talk about it. But for a long time in my life, guys, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I was doing everything because I thought that's what I should have done. I was doing things because that's what people expected me to do. You know what I mean? They expected you to do this, so you did it. They expected you to behave this way after a divorce, so you behave that way. They expected you to, you go through all these different things and you realize, wait a minute, whose lives is it? This is my life. At the end of the day, I need to be able to look at myself in the mirror and say, you know what, Monday? Awesome. Awesome. And God works in mysterious ways. He put someone in my life. Kate is the type that Pat, it. She'll tell it like it is. She's bluntly honest. And I needed that because that kind of helped me to be even more honest about me. Instead of just this pretending guy, she said, I know who you are, Mandy. This is who you are. Or you know what I mean? So it frees me in so many levels that I can bring you my genuine self. I can bring you not the perfect Monday. I can bring you this guy who's goofy sometimes, this guy who may preach a sermon one day and say, man, I wish I could go back and re-preach that sermon because I didn't like it at all. You know what I mean? It's just that, just being vulnerable enough to say I'm human. I've made mistakes with my kids. I've made mistakes in my past. I've made mistakes with my parents. I've made mistakes in my relationships. But you know what? I have learned from them. I have grown. And now I'm in a better place. Felt like I was preaching a sermon.
When he was like, okay. I hear you. We gotta go on. I was like, this is such a great way to end the show, and I have to
go. y'all gotta start going first. That's what's letting everybody else go. Y'all gotta start jumping first.
Y'all gotta put this person in rotation. The question beforehand.
Well, family, listen. I don't want to hold you longer because it's already past the time of the show. But Wendy, you didn't have your turn.
Neither did Louie.
Louie didn't go.
Wait, what?
You get two people. I was like,
all right, let's go back to the show. Go ahead, family.
Well, my chapter was called "Never Ending ... because it feels like during this time, there's always something. It's always something that might be stressing me out or something that's making me really happy. It feels like I'm constantly cycling through emotions. I feel like it's probably heightened because I'm constantly inside with myself. There's not a lot to do.
She's stuck with me. That's what it is.
A little bit. No, but I find myself like constantly thinking about like the future, and it's just like I'm stuck. I feel like I'm in this one place and I want to get all the way to Z, but I have no clue where to go. Man, I feel like this is why I should have gone before you. You really brought everything on a happier note, and I'm like, my chapter, it was kind of sad, you know. Like there's a little bit of highs, but it's mostly lows, right?
if I
That would
before
be-
movie goes, if I can give the younger ladies a suggestion, because I was
Yes.
where you guys were, is take your time.
Yes.
Back to Pastor D. You have your 40s and your 50s to worry about everything. Take your time. You're at an age that you can take your time.
Discover yourself.
Yeah, just take your time. It's not a marathon. It's not a marathon.
Mhm.
Because what I've seen is that you rush. And also, you know what? We all from the school, we all Haitians, and you have all this ambition, which is awesome. But taking your time is also essential because you don't want to be in your 30s feeling like, okay, I've done all of this and what did I do this for? I'm not even happy. So kind of, trying to find that delicate balance.
Thank you.
And the word of Coach Kels, adulthood sucks.
Yeah, I figured that one out.
I think
So
Luby
take
got
your
it.
time. Take
Okay.
your time and
All right, so
enjoy
I'm
the
gonna
journey.
do mine real quick. I'm gonna do mine real quick, and I was while all of this was being said, I was trying to figure out which of the two titles, but it's I guess which book you pick up. So mine would either be Just Do It, or if it doesn't scare you, then it's not for me, because I'm realizing that a lot of things that I overcame or we overcame as a family were things that were frightening. Going to law school, getting a lot of declining, did not get a lot of acceptance, and I just pushed through because I knew I wanted to be a lawyer. My first law school exam, I looked at the exam and I was like, yeah, I'm out of here. So I left. I went to the bathroom and I was like, what are you doing, girl? Get it together. You studied this. You got this. You got this. And I was like, who are you kidding? You ain't got this. So I was like, all right, no, I'm gonna do this. So I went in there, and that was my first A, and I just been on the high then. And then I took the bar exam and I failed it. I was like, Jesus, what is but then I took it again and I passed it. So, and with Popple, every time there was a moment that I needed to overcome, it scared me. And it has taught me that those are the ones that are for me to overcome. And I'm just going to do it. Like this podcast and this nonprofit and my law practice during COVID is just, I've been through too much for you to stop me. So all these fears and doubts, they're just telling me that's another step that I need to get to. So I'm just gonna do it like Nike, or just if it ain't big enough, it's not scaring me, then I'm not gonna waste the time with it. It needs to scare me for me to even entertain it. So that depends on what you pick up.
Yes, adrenaline.
Well, finally, we have come to the end.
Hail Mary, because
Guys, there's only one word left for me to say, and simply that is, I love you. I appreciate. I guess that's more than one word. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are amazing, amazing individuals, and you make my life a little bit brighter, a little bit better, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen with you ladies. I can't wait to see the next chapter of your life, Luby and Coach and Pat and the rest of the Remedy crew. And we're gonna be in it together. I mean, we're gonna, by God's grace, we're gonna continue with the show. We're gonna continue to educate and to stimulate people's brain to think about things that they think they knew or they understood. That's what this show is about, to bring you back to unity. I love that word, bring you back to unity with God. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So this holiday season, hug your family a little bit more, kiss them a little bit more, love them a little bit deeper. let them know that you appreciate them. Don't take each other for granted. Please don't.
Yeah.
Life,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Hug yourself if you have to, right? But yeah, take the time to appreciate the people around you, in your office. If you have a chance, tell the people around you in your office you appreciate them as well, because all of us, it takes all of us to make the world a better place. I love you. I thank you guys again for being part of the Remedy. We will see you again next time for another show. But before you go, I want to pray with you. Father God, in Jesus' name, we just want to say it has been a wonderful, wonderful experience to be with the Remedy family. And we appreciate the fact that you gave us so much to be grateful and thankful for. We thank you, Father God, for allowing us and using us as part of this Remedy family to bring awareness about you and your kingdom. Bless us as we move into the new year. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen. Amen. I love you. I love you. I love you all. I love you all. And we will see each other for another show here on the Remedy. Until next time, keep the faith, but don't keep it to yourself. Take care, everyone.
Love it.